You ever have that moment when you realize maybe everything you believed about a family you've watched for years was a complete lie? Yeah, buckle in because today we are peeling back the curtain on the Browns. And trust me, what's been happening behind the scenes of Sister Wives is not what TLC wanted you to believe. For over a decade, we've watched Cody Brown parade his family on reality TV, selling us this picture of unity, love, and that famous, we're just a normal, unique family line. But the cracks, they've been there all along, and now they're impossible to ignore. I'm Sarah, and welcome back to TLC Sister Wives Recap, the place where we stop accepting the polished TV version and start talking about the real stories, the ones they don't want you to hear. If you love the truth, if you're tired of the fake fairy tales, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and join the conversation. And please, tell me in the comments, did you ever suspect that behind Cody's smile and those family dinners, there was drinking, manipulation, isolation, maybe even a lot more going on? Today, we're digging into the allegations of Cody's drinking, his control over the wives, and how more and more people, even those once close to the family, are exposing just how fake this so called reality show might really be. When Sister Wives first aired, it really felt like something different. The Browns came onto our screens smiling, hand in hand, telling America that their unconventional lifestyle was full of love, equality, and shared purpose. It felt like a window into a large family just trying to make it work. We saw them cooking together, raising their children, and holding group meetings that, at first glance, looked united and respectful. The early seasons sold us that dream, that plural marriage could be functional, even beautiful. But as time went on, something began to shift. The mood changed, and if you were paying attention, you could feel it too. The turning point? The move from Utah to Las Vegas. And eventually the addition of Robin. That Vegas move was supposed to be a fresh start. But instead of bringing them closer, it quietly began tearing them apart. You could see it in the little moments. Cody missing family dinners, brushing off his older kids, or making decisions without even consulting his wives. Remember the way he insisted on building 4 separate homes instead of one big one? That wasn't just about construction. It symbolized how disconnected they were becoming. And then there was Robin. Her arrival changed everything. We all saw it. Cody's attention slowly shifted, not evenly across his wives, but heavily toward one. The others noticed, and so did we. Christine would mention how Cody barely came around. Janelle seemed resigned to being independent. Mary started shrinking into the background entirely. These weren't just minor issues, these were signs of deep cracks, forming inside what was supposed to be a spiritually united family. The show never stopped smiling, but behind those smiles, something darker was happening. Cody wasn't the same man anymore, and the wives, they were starting to realize it too. As the seasons rolled on, it became harder and harder to ignore. Cody wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. His favorite was obvious. And for Christine, Janelle, and Mary, it wasn't just frustrating, it was heartbreaking. Christine was the first to really say it out loud. She didn't sugarcoat it. On camera, with raw emotion in her voice, she admitted how hurt she was that Cody was always at Robin's house. Not sometimes. Not balancing his time. Always. You could hear the pain when she said it. She didn't feel like she had a husband anymore. And honestly, how could she? We all saw the pattern. Cody would spend night after night at Robin's, only making appearances at the other wives' homes after dinner or in the early hours of the morning. It wasn't speculation. It was happening right there on national television. Janelle, the most independent of the group, started speaking up too. She wasn't dramatic about it, but you could see the disappointment in her face during those family meetings. Cody's decisions, especially when it came to COVID rules and family gatherings, always seemed to lean in Robin's favor. Her frustrations boiled over during those tense moments when the family argued about seeing the kids, spending holidays together, or following Cody's strict rules. It was crystal clear. The rules were about protecting his household, Robin's household. And then there was Mary, left completely out in the cold. We all watched as her marriage with Cody disintegrated on camera. The tension, the cold shoulder, the loneliness, it was all right there for the world to see. For so many women watching, for anyone who's ever felt ignored, dismissed, or replaced, those moments hit hard. It wasn't just about plural marriage anymore, it was about being devalued, about watching someone you love. For so many women watching, for anyone who's ever felt ignored, dismissed, or replaced, those moments hit hard. It wasn't just about plural marriage anymore. It was about being devalued, about watching someone you love pick favorites and knowing no matter what, you weren't it. While the cracks in the family were clear to anyone watching Sister Wives, what really shook viewers and the Browns themselves were the leaks happening off camera. That's when Kendra, a former close friend of Robin's, stepped into the picture. And suddenly, everything we thought we knew about Cody and the family didn't just seem suspicious, it felt calculated. Kendra wasn't some random internet troll. She had been close enough to the Browns to know their private struggles. And when she started speaking to magazines and doing interviews back in 2016 and 2017, the stories she shared lined up way too neatly with what we were seeing unfold on TLC. She talked about Cody's alleged drinking, how it wasn't just a casual beer here and there, but how his mood swings, his temper, his erratic behavior behind the scenes were making life inside the Brown household miserable. And think about it, we've seen that short temper on the show. His aggressive responses in family discussions, the way he snapped at Christine during their breakup conversations, the coldness he showed Mary. It all hits different when you hear these claims coming from someone who knew them personally. Kendra also claimed Cody was using money to control the women, cutting off financial support when they pushed back, making sure they stayed dependent on him. And honestly, doesn't that match exactly what we watched happen to Mary? Her small business dreams getting dismissed, her isolation growing, or the way Janelle, fiercely independent, constantly clashed with him about finances and property? And the biggest claim of all, Cody's tactic of isolating his wives, emotionally, financially, even physically. We saw it when he uprooted the entire family to Flagstaff, pulling them further away from friends, community, and even their own extended families. On the show, it was framed as a fresh start, but off camera, it starts to look more like a calculated move to keep control. Hearing all that, how can you ever watch Sister Wives the same way again? Suddenly, those awkward silences, those forced family meetings, those moments of tension, they weren't just drama for TV. They were glimpses of something much darker happening behind closed doors. When the family suddenly announced they were moving to Flagstaff, a lot of viewers were confused. On the show, it was pitched as a fresh start, a chance to reconnect with nature, to build their dream homes, to start over. But something about it never felt right. It wasn't just sudden. It felt rushed, secretive, and honestly, suspicious. Christine looked hesitant. Janelle was clearly stressed. Even Mary seemed completely out of the loop again. But Cody was already acting like it was a done deal. He had the land picked out, the decision made, and expected everyone else to just follow along. And when you go back and rewatch those episodes, it's hard to ignore the undercurrent of control in every single conversation. The wives weren't on the same page. They weren't even in the same book. But Cody pushed forward anyway. The Flagstaff move wasn't a group decision. It was Cody's decision. Period. And here's where the behind-the-scenes context really starts to change how we see it. Around the time of that move, ratings were slipping. Viewers were getting tired of the same conversations, the fake smiles, the "we're all one big happy family" facade. And then, boom, a new city, a new crisis, new content for the cameras. It wasn't just about relocation, it was about revival. Fans started noticing how different the show felt. The drama was bigger, but it also felt staged. Suddenly, we had financial stress, tension over building homes, arguments about property lines, and Cody at the center of it all. You could feel the tension growing between the family and the producers, trying to keep the storyline alive, trying to make things seem stable when they were clearly falling apart. That move to Flagstaff, it didn't bring the family closer. It fractured them even more. And the way it all played out, from the rushed decision to the emotional blowouts, to the endless delays in building, it felt like we were watching a man grasping for control while everything around him crumbled. And for many of us watching at home, that's when the illusion started to break. It wasn't just reality TV anymore. It was a family in survival mode, but only one person was holding the reins. The more you look back, the clearer it becomes. Isolation wasn't an accident in this family. It was a pattern, a tactic, and it played out right in front of us on Sister Wives, hidden in plain sight. You see it in the way the wives started drifting apart, not just physically, but emotionally. After the move to Flagstaff, they weren't neighbors anymore. They weren't even truly connected. They were scattered across town, each in their own home, their own little bubble, and for some of them, their own quiet loneliness. Christine talked openly on the show about how abandoned she felt, how Cody wasn't coming around, how the family unity that polygamy promised had completely fallen apart. And Janelle, who always tried to be the practical one, was left struggling to keep the dream of togetherness alive, while Cody's focus was elsewhere, almost entirely with Robin. Even Robin, for all her supposed favorite wife status, wasn't exactly thriving either. The show rarely talked about it, but longtime viewers know she became increasingly isolated from her own extended family. And when you cut through the staged family dinners and forced smiles, you could feel it. The cracks were showing. But TLC didn't lay it all out for us, they never do. Instead, the tension crept in through awkward silences, through missed birthdays, through the exhausted looks on Mary's face, the heartbreak in Christine's voice, the quiet frustration in Janelle's eyes. And honestly, can you imagine how heavy that must have been for these women? To feel unseen, unheard, dismissed, not just as wives, but as human beings. The promises of love and family replaced by suspicion, distance, and control. It's heartbreaking, but it's also real. That's the reality so many viewers connected to. And I want to hear your thoughts on it. How did it feel for you watching the Browns unravel? Did you pick up on those subtle signs? Did it change how you saw the show? Let me know in the comments. I love hearing your experiences, your reactions. You all see things I miss sometimes, and together, we piece together the truth. When you strip away the cameras, the editing, the carefully crafted storylines, what's left isn't the picture perfect family TLC wanted us to believe in. Behind those polished smiles was heartbreak. There was control. There were cracks so deep that no amount of reality TV magic could cover them forever. And whether it was the constant favoritism, the quiet isolation, the tears we saw or didn't see, or the whispers about Cody's alleged drinking and controlling behavior, it all added up to something much darker than just family drama for the cameras. These aren't just characters on a show, these are real people. Women who put their trust, their futures, their families in one man's hands, and slowly watched that foundation fall apart. And no matter how much TLC tried to edit the truth has a way of slipping through the cracks. For those of us watching at home, it's easy to get caught up in the drama. But we also have to ask the harder questions. Who's really in control? Who's really hurting? And what aren't they showing us? Thank you so much for sticking with me through this, and I know it's heavy, but it matters. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and be part of this community. I'm Sarah, and this is TLC Sister Wives Recap. Share your thoughts below. I want to know how you feel seeing it all laid bare. And stay tuned. Because trust me, there's always more to the story.